Someone once said to me when I first moved to Malta, don't see everything at once. You're going to run out of things to do. This is 2007. I'm still fascinated. But you know what? Malta's not just about what you see. Malta's about all your senses. Malta's about what you see, smell, touch, hear. I can never remember the fifth one. But what I can tell you is that you're going to hear a lot of hooting and shouting. This is the Mediterranean, okay? You're going to taste things like pastizzi and kidney. And when it comes to what colors you see, the blues and the browns, this is the essence of what Malta is. But like any country, it always comes down to its people. So how many people here today are wearing white trainers? Look around. Now, this is momentum in fashion, right? If you aren't wearing any white trainers, look around you, even when you leave here today, and see how many people are. Little ideas take motion. And if you think about Malta's history, Malta has had a hell of a history, right? Phoenicians, Bronze Age, whether it be the Sicilians, the French, and the British finally giving Malta independence in 1964. This is where we look at what was before and how did that influence Malta to what it is today. And based on today, where are we going in the future? So social momentum, as I've defined it, and I say defined it in conversations and observations with Maltese friends, both professionally and personally, we talk about what influences society by its past. And the past is heavy. And anybody who has their grandparents still alive, do you know that there is a Maltese woman in Mostar who lived to 111 years old in Malta? That's fierce. What moves society forward is by what we have today. And I'm going to be taking you through, by generation, what the economy of Malta is, and certainly how Malta's innovated. Because we also need to be ready to adapt by what's to come. Often we talk about Darwin saying the survival of the fittest. In fact, it's not the survival of the fittest. It's the survival of those who most easily adapt. So, looking at generation, the economy, and innovation, we've got 4 generations that are still at play on these Maltese islands. And I'm sure you're all looking at these definitions thinking, where do I fit in? Well, you know that there's a lot of social media about Gen X, okay? So I'm going to start with the baby boomers. The baby boomers in Malta, 1946 to 1964. And they weren't called baby boomers by mistake. They were baby boomers because after the war, people had babies, a lot of them. And Malta's history is very much around the wealth of having family and grandchildren and their grandchildren and nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters. If any of you have ever been to a Maltese Christmas, and I've been very blessed to have been invited, I think you could probably spot me in the corner amongst 40 people. The baby boomers really and truly were the ones that, after the war, got island life and self-sufficiency. There was people who would queue in Valletta to go and make a phone call on a Saturday. And if you wanted to go for a swim, you'd have no problem walking from Lear down to Senglia, for that matter. The baby boomers also brought the concept of no to what each of the generations have brought since. Because the baby boomers, when they said no, no is no, right? Then comes Gen X. This is my group, 1965 to 1980. And what do we know about Gen X? Gen X are the rebels. Gen X are the ones who go out to play at 8 a.m. in the morning and come home at 7 p.m. at night for dinner, and probably ate something off a tree for lunch. And I play it up, of course, because I'm rough and tough, but Gen X is very much alive because Gen X goes through the millennial and Gen Y stages as well. Gen X is the one who, and I have to relate this to you, I saw it on a meme, and I'll relate it to my own name. This woman had said, someone asked her, what's your Gmail address? So my Gmail address is megan.easey@gmail.com. And apparently this guy said, "How did you get that name? How did you pay for it?" It's like, babe, I've been around since Gmail was invented, all right. So moving from Gen X into the millennials and Gen Y are the digital crowd. These are the ones who started taking selfies. And I know that Gen X takes selfies as well. And every now and then you might find a baby boomer in a selfie with a Gen X and a Gen Y and a millennial. But this generation is really the one that has brought to life economy. It has turned Malta into a hub of many ways. Because in Malta right now, just looking at the talks today, we're talking blockchain, we're talking AI. And when we talk about fintech in Malta, Malta has a beating heart as one of the wealthiest nations in the whole of Europe. And you'd never say so. That's what I love about Malta. Always subtle. For all the hooting and all the shouting, there's a lot going on. Talking now about Gen Z and Gen Alpha. You know, Gen Z, there will be some people here born in 1997, I know. Even maybe 2000, 2004. Okay, right, see you guys, see you. Gen Z is what's going to bring Malta into a Silicon Valley of Europe. And a Silicon Valley of Europe, can you imagine the minds? You know, baby boomers were having loads of children, and now Gen Z, Gen Alpha are maybe having 1, 2 children, and more than likely, with the diversity in Malta, having multinational families too. And one of the things that I think from a social aspect has been so powerful for Malta is the agenda of mental health, the agenda of diversity, the agenda of freedom of speech in so many ways that never was before. And in some ways, people can say, you know what, Malta's maybe a little bit backwards. Well, guess what? That's called tradition. Any country has a sense of backward. But I've never lived in a country, and I've been very lucky to live in a few. I've never lived in a country like Malta that has a sense of forward. I came here first in 2007, then I came back in 2015, and then I left for a short while, and I came back in 2017, 3 times. I still haven't left. So closing off today, how can you be part of Momentum? Because Momentum is about moving forward. And Mark just mentioned earlier, talk to strangers. This is one of the best things that we can do. You don't have to go looking for people with white shoes to see that you're similar. I was just trying to be funky. But talk to strangers. Embrace change. You know, change happens in such a way in life, and we're used to it every day. We're used to life doing this. Sometimes life does this, and life does that. But the big trick in embracing change is that you take all that enthusiasm and excitement you have about when things are going good, and you learn to embrace when things are going bad. Because those two things will continue to exist no matter what you do. And in the same way that momentum happens, momentum is up, up. It does have its downs, and that's life. And the last thing that I would encourage you to do, of course, is go out and try on a pair of white trainers, because it's cooking. And I'll leave you with my absolute favorite quote, and it's been my favorite quote for a long time. Nothing great in life ever was achieved without enthusiasm. Thank you very much.